So one of the things with ducks is, and duck ownership, is we have developed a love-hate relationship with water in all of its forms. Right now, we're just getting into winter. In fact, the last week of fall, technically, and we're just a few weeks out from Christmas. We're starting to get our first snowfall. There's only an inch or so on the ground, but that does present some unique challenges. Yesterday, we put down all the bedding. This came out of the duck's house, and Amy did a lot of work. She was out here for 3 hours doing bedding and a number of other things, making the duck's life easier. And as we slept, we got more snow. It froze, and the first thing Amy asked me when she woke up this morning is, "Did you fluff the duck's bedding?" I had not, so I'm back out here in my PJs fluffing some bedding. So it's as simple as it looks. We're just going to run through. This is just a pitchfork. And this is the bedding from inside their house. So it got a little bit stinky. You know, it starts to smell a little bit like urine or that kind of ammonia smell. And that's when we know it's time for something to come outside. We replaced with fresh wood chips on the inside. These, unfortunately, we still have to buy our wood chips. There's no way that my wood shop creates this many chips, or at least this quality of chips. We like a nice, thick, big pine flake. That way it's low on dust. And yeah, you like it too, don't you, duckers? It's low on dust, which is better for the ducks' breathing. They'll be less prone to getting like a respiratory infection or something like that. So all I'm doing is really just kind of turning over, or if you're a fan of Schitt's Creek, we're just folding it in, right? Just fold it in. And that doesn't get rid of the moisture, but it does allow the ducks to have something that's a little more fluffy, traps that air, and hopefully it's a little bit warmer between them and the ground below. There's another pile of stuff I need to fluff over here. It's below freezing right now, so that's one of the other things we need to keep our eye on is their water bowl. I'll show you their water bowl here in just a second. And also their pool. They love their pool, but right now the pool doesn't love them. It's got a crust on it. Yep. Still water underneath, but we've got about a ½ inch of ice on the pool. So I'm going to break that up, and I guarantee later today, even if it's below freezing, they'll be in the pool. They absolutely love that. We'll do some videos on why and how the pool is the way it is coming up in the future. Right now, I've got some work to do. I'm just going to give you a quick look at the water. So we have one water bowl, and normally we've had 2 or 3 out here, but for the winter it's easier to keep one constantly thawed instead of having to do 2 or 3. Another thing of why we only have one is, you see I've got buckets here. Before it got freezing, we had a hose, we had a nice water system all set up, but water doesn't like the cold. So we are hauling this stuff up from an outdoor spigot. If it gets above freezing for maybe a few hours in the day, I'll turn the spigot on. But here in a few weeks, I'll be hauling all this in from the house. I need to figure something out for next winter, but I think it's a little bit too late for us to have water or running water in the duck house this winter. So we've got our water bowl, and it gets nasty quick. If anyone has had ducks, if you have ducks, you'll know this. As soon as they find water, they find a way to make it gross. They're putting their food in it. In fact, their food is right here, and they eat their food and they immediately go and get some water. They're always looking for that water source. So this is critical for them to have it. Their water is going to be a little bit gross, but we're not always going to be dumping it out. We could, every time it got dirty, dump it out, but we'd be going through 100 gallons of water just for these ducks every day if we did that. Instead, we're just going to top it off, and maybe once or twice throughout the day, we come out and give them a refresh. Another reason why I'm not dumping out the water is in their feed, I've mixed in some brewer's yeast. We have Pekin ducks. They're bred to be a meat duck. So they're a lot heavier, they're bigger, and that's really hard on their joints. In fact, we lost one of our ducks because his legs, quite frankly, were not strong enough to support him. He had some birth defects. That was Scooter. Maybe we'll tell you more about Scooter and our whole Scooter saga in the future. But Pekin ducks, they have leg issues because of a niacin deficiency. These are all things that I've picked up from other YouTube channels and forums and other stuff. I knew nothing about ducks a year ago. I've put some brewer's yeast on their food, mix it in, and when they're bringing it over here, that yeast gets mixed into their water, and it starts to smell kind of like a brewery. You know, it smells like that brewer's wort. If anyone's ever done like a brewery tour or driven past a brewery, you know that smell, and the water can start to smell like that, can sort of start to ferment a little bit slower here in the cold. So we let that sit in there, and that allows all the ducks to have access, even if they're not picking up a lot of it from their food. It's getting into their water, it's getting into their system, and our hope is that they're going to be healthier ducks because of it. So for them, a little bit of dirty water actually might be doing a lot of good. So we're going to take a little pan over here. You'll see that the ducks are on the bedding. So this is on video. Amy was absolutely right. The ducks love their bedding. They love it fluffed up. Except they're a little scared that I'm walking their way. So I'll let you all be. Have a wonderful day.